Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about Mauser. Picked one of these up not too long ago. This is a Yugoslavian Mauser, or the M48A. Mausers have been long described as some of the greatest battlefield rifles that you could have had, at least in the bolt action style. And the bolt of the old German Mauser has been, used and recreated in various rifles over the years. It's very possible that, your good old hunting rifle you have in your safe or in the corner or wherever has been stylized, at least the bolt, after the old Mauser. And that's a pretty cool little distinction there. But this isn't a German. I mean, this is a Yugoslavian one. The M48 model, let's see, they started in, 1948, obviously M48. The 48A, let's see, I believe that was 52 to 55 or 56, 52 to 56, I believe. So this would have been manufactured in the 50s. Really not used. The stock's in really great shape. The bolt's in really good shape. The finish is in really good shape. Everything about this, obviously it does have some wear, but it's all in really good shape. Really, they didn't see, I think there's like the Yugoslavian wars, but of course, I don't really know too much about that. I'm a bit of a history buff, but I don't know too much about the old Yugoslavian wars. But some of these rifles saw some action, but these were post-World War II, so they wouldn't have seen that sort of action. So I guess it's a little bit about the history of it, but these rifles, I don't know, you don't find them too much on the open market. I mean, they're out there, but Mausers have largely dried up, as it were. But anyway, so yeah, pretty happy about this one, and it is a numbers matching rifle as well, which for those of you who care about that sort of stuff, I thought was pretty cool. Let's start from the back and work our way front. It does have this fairly nice big old steel butt plate. However, it's a very pleasant shooter. Shoots the 8mm Mauser round, which I have an example of here. Nice big old cartridge, but it's very pleasant to shoot, at least in this rifle. Very pleasant to shoot, and ammunition's not exactly, at least around here, the easiest to find, but you can find it. The stock itself is definitely shorter than your typical German 98 model, but I like the overall length. It's a very comfortable length. Although I will say that the beef in this particular section of the stock is a little much. I wish it were a little bit more streamlined, a little bit slimmer. The stock itself is a little bit smaller than I'd wanted. I wish it were longer. Maybe if I put a pad or something, just to give it a little bit more length. And I'm not a super tall guy, but I wish it were a little bit longer. I'd feel a little bit more comfortable with it. Moving our way up, the bolt action is reasonably smooth. When I got this rifle, it was still packed in cosmoline, so I had to do a lot of fun cleaning, and the bolt was so impacted that you could rack it, but when you pulled the trigger, it would start to go in real slow, but you couldn't discharge a round with it at the time. So I took it all apart and cleaned it, disimpacted it, so it was a lot of fun. The action is smooth, but not as smooth as like your German Mausers. I know a lot of people brag a lot on Mauser action, but I would call this just adequate. I think my infield has a smoother action than this, but it's not bad. It definitely works. The trigger, got a little oil spray in the face. I guess I oiled that bolt down really nice. but the trigger itself is just adequate. It would be what I would expect out of a wartime rifle, surplus rifle. It's not anything to write home about. So, is what it is. 5 rounds. It'll hold 5 rounds in an integrated magazine. Oh yeah, one of the other things is that the M48A started to integrate some stamped metal. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I actually think the only thing they stamped was this floor plate for the magazine. I think the rest was still out of, machined out of forged steel, especially that receiver. They wanted to make sure that that receiver was nice and beefy to take the brunt from that nice sized cartridge. Moving down, we do have our sight, kind of you want to shoot that long, adjustable sight here. We see that a lot on surplus rifles. Very low profile. It does have this notch in the wood here to look down, and then into the front sight back here. If I can poke it, there we go. Finally located it there. Which is a little triangle. So you're dealing with some triangle sights, but I will tell you that they are pretty low visibility. They're very, very military, low-profile sights. So nothing to write home about there, but if you're a surplus shooter, you tend to understand that going in. Oh, another thing I didn't mention when I was down here, you'll have, especially the German ones, sometimes the Turkish Mausers, where they will have a little plate here where you can stick your bolt in and effectively use the rifle to help you take it apart. This just has this cut in here. And then there's the sling point, metal sling point up here. Just forgot to mention that while I was down here. This does not include that option. It does come with the cleaning rod, which is definitely stuck in there. I've got it out, but it likes to get sticky in there. So probably spray a little bit more, probably some Cosmoline, just in the bottom. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the Yugo Mauser, I was happy to get it. I got a pretty good deal on it, and I wanted to share it with you because this is a decent piece of history as far as rifles go. I love surplus stuff. I hope you do too. It is very interesting, and it can be interesting if you put the time in to learn about it. And this rifle survived since the 50s. It looks great. The Yugoslavians, like I said, they didn't really engage in much during the time period when these were being made. And apparently they also had some interesting, cleaning regiments. I think it was like every 5 years they would take everything out and inspect and clean. So some of these, excuse me, probably never saw any action, just storage wear. And I got to tell you, when I was looking this over, that's kind of what I'm seeing. I mean, it just doesn't really have the spoils of war, those interesting war scars that, we tend to love. It does have some dents and dings, but it's been pretty well taken care of, and I can appreciate that. But as far as a Mauser goes, obviously a German would be preferable, but this is a very nice version of a Mauser. The Yugoslavians definitely made some good rifles, and that tradition is continued as Zastava. But anyway, yeah, that's the Mauser, the M48A. Pretty happy with this little guy. But anyway, folks, just wanted to say that I appreciate you stopping by. Make sure my rifle doesn't fall down. Just wanted to say thank you for stopping by. Thanks for all the subscriptions and the comments and the likes. Just continue to do that for me if you would. As well as check out the Patreon page if you want to contribute to the channel. All that, if any, just goes right back in and supporting the crazy hobby and so forth. But appreciate you stopping down. You'll have a good rest of your night. Bye-bye.